Bright skies over Jersey. A Learjet 35A snaps into the circle, bank rises, speed bleeds. Then the jet flips, nearly inverted, and slams into an industrial park. Two pilots, Will and Jeff. The punchline you won't expect: Jeff wasn't authorized to be pilot flying. No briefing. Gates blown. Pull up. Ignored. This wasn't bad luck. It was a leadership failure that ended in a stall you could see coming. It's May 15th, 2017. The jet is a Learjet 35A N452DA, repositioning Philadelphia, Teterboro, after flying passengers earlier. Weather? Visual. Good visibility with gusty northwest winds that favor runway 1 at TEB. In that configuration, arrivals are typically cleared for the ILS runway 6, and then required to circle to land runway 1, a visual maneuver inside tight, protected airspace squeezed between Newark, LaGuardia, and JFK. It's a short leg, which means little time to brief, configure, or fix mistakes. The aircraft has no auto throttles. Speed control is on the pilots. Company policy is clear. The captain is PIC, and a low qualification SIC 0 shouldn't be pilot flying online ops. One more wrinkle. Circling to 1 at Teterboro compresses everything: altitudes, turns, traffic spacing. Get late on geometry or speed here, and your margins vanish fast. Will Ramsey, captain, recently requalified on the Lear 35A after extra simulator time. Training records noted weaknesses on circle-to-land maneuvering. He ultimately passed, but needed added coaching. As Pisces under Part 135, he owned the brief, the gates, and the call to go around. Jeff Alino, first officer, hired as SIC 0, allowed to monitor, not to act as pilot flying online operations. Company progression required qualified check airmen. For the Lear 35A, those were scarce, so upgrades stalled. The result? Jeff remained SIC 0 at the time of the accident. Here's why that matters. The day's risks: gusts, tight circling geometry, no auto throttles, demand crisp roll discipline. Letting an unqualified SIC fly, the leg didn't just bend policy, it stripped away a key defense against task saturation. That decision, combined with an unbriefed approach, set up the cockpit for late mode management, speed drift, and a fragile final turn. Philadelphia departure clears them low, 4,000 feet, for a short 120-mile hop. Will grumbles about not getting higher. Jeff, the SIC 0, is effectively flying while Will coaches. The autopilot is on in heading mode, no auto throttles, so speed wanders and briefly exceeds the 250-knot limit below 10,000. New York approach issues the plan: ILS 6, circle runway 1. Will's response betrays surprise. He hasn't realized how close they are. He half listens to the ATIS, never briefs the approach, and starts chasing numbers. Vectors come fast: intercept localizer, then direct Vings, then cross Dandy 1500, start circle at Torby. They blow through the localizer once, correct, and continue with no formal briefing and no roll reset. Jeff says he has the runway. He's looking at Newark, not Teterboro. Will doesn't catch it. Speeds and callouts are sloppy. For circling in gusts, the book calls for VREF plus additive until final. Will quotes straight-in numbers. Altitude, Dandy at 1,500. They cross 500 feet high. Start the circle at Torby. They fly past it, shrinking their turning room to almost nothing. Tower asks, "Are you going to start that turn?" Now they're 1 mile from the threshold, still high and hot for a circle, with a tailwind component on base. Jeff twice offers the controls. Will waves him off. EGPWS begins to complain. Instead of a decisive go-around and reset, they press on, late, tight, and slow, into a geometry that leaves no out if the wing has the last word. SOP. Brief the approach. Lock. PF, PM rolls. Set VREF plus wind additive for circling. Respect gates. Dandy 500. Start circle at Torby. Call unstable and go around. Behavior. No real briefing. PF-PM blurred with an SIC 0 flying. Straight-in speeds quoted for a circle in gusts. Dandy crossed 500 high. Torby blown past. Base turn started 1 mile from the runway. Multiple hard cues, e.g. PWS, geometry, workload. Yet the decision was to salvage, not reset. That gap between written procedure and cockpit reality became the accident's runway. A circle to land is an IFR approach that ends with a visual maneuver to another runway. You must 1. Stay inside the protected circling area. 2. Keep VREF plus additive until you're rolling out on a short, stable final. 3. Cap bank so stall speed doesn't creep up. And 4. Go around the moment geometry, speed, or sight picture slips. In gusts, add half the gust per SOP AFM to protect margin. Circling low and tight turns a little slop into a big stall. Fast. Angle of attack, AOA, is what stalls the wing, not airspeed alone. In a turn, load factor rises, so the wing needs more lift, so AOA goes up. For the same indicated airspeed, a steeper bank means you're closer to the critical AOA. Low, tight circles eat margin fast. EGPWS, sink rate, and pull-up are last-ditch warnings, not gentle suggestions. When they sound in a low-altitude turn, the only correct play is power, plus pitch, plus go-around, not try one more correction. They're A-beam the numbers with too little room. Bank increases toward 135 degrees. Airspeed decays through the targets set for a straight in, not a circle in gusts. Sink rate, pull up. Jeff tries to hand controls over, twice. Will finally takes them, but not to go around. He tries to salvage alignment with more bank and back pressure. That combo drives AOA past critical. The Lear rolls right, nearly inverted, and impacts off the approach end of runway 1. This is the classic low-altitude trap. The runway is right there, and confirmation bias says one more correction will make it work. But energy, geometry, and warning systems are voting no. The missed approach was available earlier, at the first blown gate, at Torby, at the EGPWS alert. Every delayed go-around made the next one less survivable. NTSB, probable cause, failure to brief and maintain a stabilized approach. PIC's improper decision to allow an unauthorized SIC-0 to act as pilot flying. Loss of airspeed awareness during the circle culminating in an aerodynamic stall. Contributing factors: weak CRM and leadership in the cockpit. Operator shortcomings. Training standardization, lack of FDM SMS maturity, limited check airman availability on type. And oversight gaps typical to smaller Part 135 environments. The report also underlines speed discipline in circling, the need for wind additives, and crisp go-around criteria. None of those concepts are exotic. They're aviation's boring superpowers. When they're replaced by coaching through chaos and make-it mentality, risk spikes. The investigator's through line is simple: the system's layers failed. Individual, company, oversight. And the last line: pilots exercising a conservative go-around, never engaged. Inside the cockpit, authority gradient did the quiet damage. Jeff, underqualified to be PF, deferred. Will, fixated on proving control, coached instead of captained. The tone, casual, annoyed, behind, crowded out the basics. Brief, bug, call, verify, go around. Cognitive tunneling and confirmation bias fed each other. Each small miss justified the next, just a bit more. Human factors don't excuse the choices. They explain how smart people talk themselves past the guardrails. The case became a teaching slide: ban casual circling, enforce stabilized approach gates, harden CRM leadership training for business jets, and adopt data tools, FDM, even in small fleets. Safety writers and trade press amplified the lesson: missed approaches are free, funerals aren't. Several operators quietly restricted circling in jets unless strict conditions are met. The disturbing part isn't fate, it's layers of choice: wrong PF, no brief, busted gates, ignored warnings. Any one barrier could have saved Will and Jeff. The loop closes here. Circling is legal. it isn't forgiving. So the question for operators is simple: train harder with stricter gates, or prohibit circling in jets unless conditions are ideal.